Do you remember when anime was good? No, you don't, because you never watched any good anime, and I'm here to help you. And I know this because no one's watched this show, for instance. Let's talk about The Ancient Magus Bride.
When you're up and down and you're over and out, come listen to your friend Stephen Brown. This is the show with Stephen.
Now, what if I told you that there was good anime as recently as 2017? Yes, The Ancient Magus Bride came out in 2017. It sits at about an 8.06 on average out of 10 on MyAnimeList, reviewed by over 300,000 people. So yes, obviously, this isn't a small show. People have definitely seen it, and it's definitely gotten its flowers, if you know what I'm saying. However, I missed it on its first outing, and now in 2023, I'm getting to watch it for the first time in preparation to watch the second season in this next spring season of anime that's about to begin in a week. But why am I talking about the show? Because it's so dang gone good, you need to go watch it right now, okay? This came out of absolutely nowhere. I had no idea this was going to be so good, and it's a shame that I've never heard anyone talk about this on the internet, that there's no huge fan base for it, there's no one cosplaying it, there's no one doing art for it, there's no one making Tumblr accounts about it or anything. No one's RPing this stuff. Come on, bro. There's going to be some very light spoilers in this review/discussion, so if you don't want to be spoiled or anything, then you already heard what I have to say. This show's great. I gave it a 9 out of 10. I definitely think if you like anime, you owe it to yourself to watch this one. Man, I'm getting so ahead of myself here that I completely forgot to introduce myself. My name is Stevie B. I'm your host, aka Daddy Cool. Welcome to Weeb World, baby. Now, The Ancient Magus Bride follows our main character, Chisei, who my girlfriend, who I watch the show with, lovingly calls cheesesteak, because every time they say in the English dub Chisei, it sounds like they're saying cheesesteak. Chisei's parents didn't love her, so she got sold into slavery. She's a slayebaggy, which is a form of fairy, which I had never heard of before, but there's some folk tales and stuff about that. She is a fairy who exudes a lot of magic, and this draws a lot of people towards her because they want her magical energy. Now, speaking of folklore, this show follows tons of folklore. Every character is based off of something. Now, the show is called Ancient Magus Bride because the ancient magus or sorcerer known as Elias takes Chisei out of slavery, adopts her, not adopts her, that's the wrong word, that sounds gross. He takes her out of slavery, buys her because he's interested in her magical power, and immediately says he's going to train her to be his apprentice, teach her how to do magic, and then also marry her. There's a bit of a weird relationship there that isn't completely explained, but by the end, you like seeing these characters together, but they never really explained why he wants to marry her, but he wants to marry her, and they eventually get married at the end of the show, so there is a payoff. And the draw of the show is the character interactions, is these relationships, is this time you spend hanging out with these characters and all the dramatic moments. I mean, the list is huge. There's Lindell, the sorcerer who takes care of the dragon sanctuary and protects the dragons, and his familiar Merituli, the queen of the fairies, Titania with the fat naturals, and her husband Oberon, and they're based off of Shakespearean stories. There's even a hot sorcerer with a scar named Mikhail. And a big highlight of this show and all the relationships between these characters and what makes it so beautiful is the music. At every turn, whenever something happens, there's a large swelling from underneath as the music explodes. Just really tying together all of these emotional moments when you think someone's going to die or someone gets hurt or they're fighting someone or they're just, talking about how they love each other, whoever the characters may be. There's a lot of love in this show. There's a lot of love to go around. It's a nice community of magical people, fairies, creatures, dragons, all kinds of stuff. A small little gripe specifically while I'm on sound is that I watched the English dub on Crunchyroll. And yes, I recommend this English dub. This English dub is good. It's well acted. All the voices fit. It's pretty good. The music's good and everything. But the audio mixing is a little strange. I didn't watch any of the Japanese with English subtitles, so I can't really compare. But no matter which TV in my house I was on, or if I was on my computer, anything it was, all of my sound had to be up all the way so I could watch the show because it was super, super quiet. And then when the music hits and they have those big moments, it was way too loud. It was like how movies are mastered for a theater and then sound bad at home, basically. You need to go listen to the ending song of the first half of the show, the first season. It's 24 episodes, so the first 12 episodes, that first ending song, man, I looked forward to the end of every episode just so I could sit through that. And anytime my girlfriend wanted to skip it, I was like, no, nuh-uh, we're listening to this. But what I really want to talk about from the show the star of the show. Let me tell you the tale of Cardophilos, based on a story in the Bible, which I watched a video to learn more about this because I thought it was so cool when I was looking into the characters of this and everything they're based on. We have Joseph, who is one of the antagonists of the series, pops up here and there, is a necromancer in the show with the form of a little boy. Joseph's mother was a witch. Joseph's mother died, and he lived alone as a boy, digging graves at a graveyard. That was his job. And the people in the village were rude to him, would beat him, would shun him, not let him be a part of society. And he did not want to be alone. But he always helped others. No matter what he could do, if there was someone who needed help, he would help them. And with his mother's magical abilities, which he obtained a little bit from her, he hears the dead crying out. And one day while he's digging graves and stuff, he hears a voice under the dirt saying, "Please help me. I'm in so much pain. Please help me. Get me out of this hole." Joseph digs up a rotten man, skeleton-y creature guy wrapped in bandages named Cardophilos, who is based on a story in the Bible. This is a real name from the Bible. Joseph starts a relationship with Cardophilos, taking care of him at home for a couple of years, and they become close, and they're the only people that each other has. Even Cardophilos is even knitting and stuff at home while Joseph's out working. One day, being distraught, Joseph is finally fed up with living in the village they're at, and he wants to get away and go somewhere where people will not be as mean to him, and he wants to take Cardophilos with him. But Cardophilos hasn't been healing. His wounds never close. He is just always this rotten, ragged man in bandages. So he decides to fuse his body with Cardophilos in hopes that they would become one and it would fix Cardophilos and that the both of them could leave as one person, never being alone. But this brings on the curse that Cardophilos has that continues to make his body wither. And as Joseph continues to try and live, as he's rotting, he starts cutting off bits and pieces of people and sewing them to himself and doing these horrible Frankenstein mashups on his own body to try and stave off the deteriorating and the pain of his body, because his body's always aching as it rots and deteriorates and everything falling apart internally and externally. And sometime after being fused with Cardophilos and in taking his curse and body, Joseph hears the tale of Cardophilos, which comes straight from the Bible. One day, when Cardophilos was walking home from work, down the path, Jesus was in front of him, and Jesus is walking too slow because Jesus has just been tortured. And he hits Jesus with a stick and pushes him over and says, "Hey dude, you're in my way, come on, move faster, pick up the pace." And Jesus turns to him and says, "Oh, I will move on, but you shall remain." So Cardophilos is cursed to spend eternity rotting and withering away and feeling all the feelings that come with age, the pain, the deterioration. But he cannot die. He simply will not die. And Joseph now has this curse and Cardophilos as part of him. And the boy just wanted to be happy, you know? But I hear this, like, I mean, I enjoy the entire show from the get-go. I was completely in, and then we get into the final arc, and we learn about Joseph like this, and we see this story, and it was just so metal, dude. I love necromancers. I love that kind of stuff in media, and all of the kind of medieval fantasy and magical stuff that this show has, particularly. A lot of anime has magic stuff, but this show really just does it so right, man. It does it so good and really pays attention to that old English folklore aspect of it and really gets into it. It's awesome. And I feel bad for people that had to watch the show in 2017 because the show is now about to reach its second season finally in 2023. That's quite the wait for another season. But now I'm totally in. Can't wait to watch the second season. I'll definitely be watching with the girlfriend. I think we might wait for the English, but we both said that, you know, if it takes too long for the English to come out, if it doesn't air within like a couple weeks of the original broadcast, we'll just watch in Japanese as well. But I want to go look into reading this. It's based off of a manga. It looks awesome. I am so into this story, dude. And I think if you're watching this and made it this far, you need to go check it out for yourself. It's really cool. I don't think it's for everybody. It's definitely drama heavy, but if you like Old English medieval fantasy type stuff and lore and things like that, and you like good drama, you should check it out for sure. Okay, well, thank you guys for watching this long. If you liked this video, consider liking and subscribing. If you didn't like this video, I appreciate you sticking around to the end, listening to an opinion that's different than your own. Before we go, also, go hang out with me on Sundays on Twitch. I'm live streaming One Piece Odyssey and Immortals Phoenix Rising every Sunday starting at 1 p.m. Pacific. You can catch me there. And if you hated this video, I'm sure you like playing Tetris, your mother doesn't love you, and you can go get bent.
The show is over, but you're still here hanging around. Why don't you hit subscribe?